Hello and welcome back to Novel Gaming, a podcast about video games and books with radio signals of other pop culture. I'm Doug.
I'm Katie.
And it's a game club episode.
Yay!
Yeah, it's the first game we're playing together for the podcast in 2025.
Hey.
So, very exciting. After chatting briefly about their game After Party during our backlog challenge episodes, we decided to play Night School Studios' 2016 debut, Oxenfree, a dark and mysterious narrative-driven game. But before we start searching for our missing party members, let's talk about what we've been reading, watching, and thinking about lately. So, Katie.
Yes.
What you been reading?
So, you know how we read a nice love book last time? Well, I followed that and am currently in the middle of reading The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. And the funny stuff is...
Our journeys are so parallel.
The funny thing is that reading the description and knowing, so Grady Hendrix also wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism, which you talked about previously. And, you're like, it's like, a campy thing. It's kind of fun, not too scary. Yeah. And so I am going to read My Best Friend's Exorcism, but it was like, I wasn't able to get it as quickly as I could get Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And I was like, oh, it's about, a women's book club who, fights a vampire.
That sounds dope.
In the 90s. Yeah.
That sounds
And I was like,
dope.
It's going to be campy. It's going to be fun. And boy, oh boy, the content. There is sexism, racism, rape, violence, child abuse. And I was like, whoa, that's not what I thought. But it is, I'm like, it's really interesting. And I really want to talk about it and make sense of it with others. So I'm now on the hunt to find other people who have read this book. A vampire hunt. Yes, to find other people who have read this because I want to get into it a little bit and help make myself make sense of some of the things happening in there.
Sure. Part of your expectations are certainly my fault. That's
on me.
Because the point at which I was in the book, it was certainly very campy. It doesn't stop for My Best Friend's Exorcism. It doesn't stop having that thread of humor in it. But it does get darker as it goes.
Yeah.
And what I will say, especially if you're planning on reading it, is the exorcism scene is rough.
Okay.
Not even necessarily the reasons you would think. So if you end up reading that, I would be thrilled to talk to you about it.
Yeah. We could do a Grady Hendrix book switch, and then we can, talk through our thoughts and feelings about
the old
them
Hendrix
together.
swap.
The classic.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm so interested based on your reaction to me starting to say that and what you're reading. So please tell me what you're reading.
What's so funny is I was not really planning on talking about it because it was that journey, So I was gonna be well, I'm reading a couple things, our next book club book, which by the way is the Full Moon Coffee Shop, if you want to read along. And I was gonna be and I'm also reading this horror book about a conversion therapy camp, but that's pretty heavy. So so I'm reading a book called Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker-Martin, which takes place in the 90s. I think it's 1993, or I think it has two, I think it takes place in the 90s, and then I think there's a time jump. I just haven't gotten to the time jump. But it takes place in the 90s. It's about, I think, 6 or 7 teenage kids who are sent to a horrible and horrifying and horror-like conversion therapy camp, which is all redundant because what conversion therapy camp isn't horrifying and horror. But I believe that the sort of plot is that they are all kids who went to this conversion therapy camp and then later like over a decade later, I think, get back together to like take the conversion therapy camp down. I think
Fingers
is where
crossed.
that goes. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. I think it would be weird to write a book about a conversion therapy camp that, doesn't have some sort of catharsis involved there. We're supposed to root for our many protagonists in this one for sure. So, it's tough. It's definitely, anything you could imagine regarding like, hateful behavior towards any type of queer person or gender nonconforming person at all.
Yeah.
It's got some of that stuff in there. But I've been wanting to read it. Gretchen Felker-Martin is the same person who wrote Manhunt.
Somebody was just telling me about that.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to read that too, but I couldn't get my hands on. Similarly to you, I couldn't get my hands on.
We are in parallel
the book
journeys.
set out for. So I read this one instead. So I'll update you on that one as I get further in through it. But my plan, because I wasn't going to talk about either one of those books, was actually to just talk about a video game I've been playing. That I've kind of been playing in place of. When I would normally read. It's like my before bed game, and normally that would be like my before bed book, because I've been playing Rise of the Golden Idol. Yeah. Can I tell you that for like the whole first case in this game, I thought I was playing Case of the Golden Idol. Because I just didn't read the title, I guess.
That's the second one.
So I'm playing the sequel to The Case of the Golden Idol without having played. Oh, is it really? Is that the reputation? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then when I go back, I'll be, in great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's funny is like I started playing this. These games have been on my radar, and I say these games. I didn't know there were two, which is probably why I didn't realize I wasn't playing.
Rise, I think, is pretty fresh. It's pretty new.
Yeah, I think like a year and a half, maybe, if that. But it's a lot of fun. But it is tough. But it's really rewarding too. Have you played either of these games, or have you played games like them?
I've played, I think, games kind of like them. I played Duck Detective, which I think is the like easiest of those types of games, like Obra Dinn. Case of the Golden Idol, those kind of like detective mind puzzle
the root
things.
Trees are dead.
Right. Yes. It's
like
one of the newest. Yeah. I struggle with them because sometimes I'm just like not smart enough, or I don't have the patience enough to like really think about it.
I think it's the second one because I run into the same thing where I'm sort of like, okay, I'm just dumb. I'm putting this down today. And then when I go back, I'm like, I think I just was like not. Like if I just like take a breath and go back through my quote notes, and then when I figure it out, I'm like, of course. And sometimes I identify myself doing it while I'm doing it. So there was one, there's like an auction scene, and it was very obvious to me that I was going to have to figure out who was who based on like how much they spent at the auction. And I was like, fuck that.
Annoying.
I don't want to do math. And then the next day I was like, why was I being such a baby? It's like 19,000 minus 1,000. Like, it's not even hard, the math, the game is certainly hard. But it's been nice. It's been a fun sort of like in place of reading thing, because it's a really language heavy and sort of like mystery.
Still.
Yeah, totally. And it's a mystery. And I don't typically read mysteries, but I guess I'll play them. So it's been fun.
That's cool.
The way I found out I was playing the wrong game was because after I finished the whole first case, I was like, you know what? Some of my favorite streamers, Secret Sleepover Society, have played this game. So now that I've done the first case, I'll watch, their stream up to where I've gotten. And then when I started playing it, I was like,
what are they playing?
This looks wrong.
Yeah.
What are they playing? And then realized I was playing the wrong thing. So
beautiful. Look at you. You're going into hard mode right from the jump.
I know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they upped the difficulty for the second one. I am at a point where like I'm going to really need, I might have to play it during the day for this next thing, because I'm at a part where I just need to like put all of my focus into sorting out some details.
Yeah. Yep. I think the Triple Click hosts all really love that series. And that's how I know the second one is harder than the first, because they all talked about the second one being harder than the first. And I think
if they think it's hard, I feel great.
Yeah.
Because I'm validated.
Yeah. And I think at least a couple of them do like a physical notebook to help them make sense of it as they play.
You know, that's really smart, because what I've had to end up doing, and what I imagine most players end up having to do, is like flipping between chapters to sort of go back and read the in-game notes that you thought you were past, you know? And you're like, oh, fuck, I got to go back and look at those notes. I didn't realize they were going to be relevant.
Right.
You know?
That I still need to know it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's smart. I might have to start doing that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been watching lately?
Yeah, so I kept on the kind of horror, except this one more emotionally devastating.
Oh, no.
Maybe, but it's good. I finally watched, and we've already talked about it, but I haven't talked about it on the podcast, even though you have talked about it on the podcast. I saw The TV Glow.
Ooh.
Yes, which is
so good.
Freaky deaky horror.
It is freaky deaky horror.
Yes. And I'm not going to talk too much about it, because if you haven't watched it yet, then you should without knowing things. And I feel like that's part of the fun. And even after you watch it, I'm still like, do I know things? I don't know. And even after I listened to a 3-hour Fear-Coded episode where you and the Fear-Coded trio talk about it, I'm like, do I still know everything? I don't know. Yeah. It is such a good movie. It is such an unsettling movie. It is such a thinker. And I'm so grateful you talked about it at any point so that I was kind of aware of it. I'm so grateful that you shared with me so I could actually watch it, because I've been trying to get it from my library, but it just hasn't been happening for a while. And I'm also so glad you talked about it on Fear-Coded, because after I finished watching it, I was like, I knew I was going to see you like the next day. So I was like, I'm going to wait to talk to Doug, but I am going to start listening to Doug and the like, Fear-Coded crew.
I feel like it's so hard to watch that movie and not just be like, I need to talk to somebody about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's plenty of books and plenty of movies and TV shows, but that one specifically, I remember walking out of the theater and being like, 1, I need to see this again, and 2, I need someone to see this so I can talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So, but it's so good.
Good.
I'm not good at picking like favorites, because the moment I dedicate myself to a number one favorite, I'm like, well, is it? But I saw The TV Glow is like easily one of my favorite movies of last year.
Yeah.
Like confidently up there, probably like top 3 somewhere.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Super good. Super good. So that was what I have most recently watched, and has been sticking with me, because it's been honestly a little bit since I've watched it, but I still can't stop thinking about it.
It's hard not to.
Yeah. How about you? What are you watching?
Well, this is lighter stuff. So, you know, we've got what's that? 25% of what we talked about so far is actually the lighter stuff we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
Some reality TV, some reality competition.
Nice.
I've been watching Drag Race season 17, which is the current season, and also Drag Race season 16, because you mentioned to me that you had started watching that one. Drag Race is just like so stupid difficult to watch. It makes me so mad. So I'm glad that 16 is now available so that we can watch it together. But what a pair of casts. I mean, season 7, they're very different, but these MTV casts have all been like really good. 15, 16, and 17 are the MTV seasons. And like, I don't know what they changed, but they tweaked something ever so slightly, and the casts are just really good. Yeah. They've got sort of like a more classic reality TV vibe without the toxicity of old classic reality TV, you know? So like, I feel like there's always a little bit of like shadiness that doesn't feel nasty, which is like fun. That's like the fun reality TV stuff that I want to see. And I don't know, it's just been the season 17 cast are like cartoon characters. The season 16 cast like are just, they're like some of them are just wild.
Yeah.
How many episodes of 16 have you gotten in?
I'm 3 deep. So I just finished the 3rd. So I've saw my first elimination.
Okay. So you've met Plain Jane.
Plain Jane is like come in knowing I am going to be the villain.
Uh-huh.
And I am going to love being the villain. Some other queens maybe are a little shady, or these ones might know each other, so they're being a little extra shady to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Plain Jane's like, I'm going to be shady to everybody all the time. And if I'm being nice, you're going to question if it's actually nice, or am I being shady?
Right. And if there's one asterisk to the like, minus the toxicity, it's probably a very specific relationship Plain Jane has with somebody.
I saw a preview and I think I know who it is just based on, there was something that was even said in this episode and I was like, uh-oh.
It's seeded early.
Her and, I'm just going to say it. So I guess spoilers if you haven't seen season 16 and don't want to know who might be in fights. I actually don't know even if this is true, but it seems like a mandatory meeting. There's like definite friction.
There's some friction there. And you know what? It's over a year ago.
Yeah,
they're all
I'm sure they're fine.
You know?
Yeah.
I think we know this to be true. It's not always the case, but I think we know it to be true this time. So fortunately, we can kind of watch it in retrospect and like have conversations about it, but also know that there's
they're
like
fine.
Peace on the other side, you know?
Yeah.
But Plain Jane gets a little wild. I think I'm one episode ahead of you.
Okay. I was going to say, she's been a little wild so far. Like, because I feel like normally when there are shady queens and villains, there are still moments of like genuine sincerity and like kindness.
Bianca
exactly.
was like shady to everybody, but very nice.
Yeah, and like Daya, the villain of her season, but also showed genuine appreciation for when people did things and wasn't like afraid to be like, you fucking killed it. Whereas like Plain Jane is like, I'm not really going to say that to anybody.
I think one of the other things too about Plain is like, she tells us what she's doing in the confessionals all the time.
Yes.
And something about that feels like sort of better in a weird way because it makes it seem like she's on TV and she knows what she's doing. And it's not just like, oh, you're just like a raging asshole all the time and don't realize it.
Yeah.
I think she's very self-aware.
Absolutely.
Season 17 doesn't quite have that going on, but they did recently just have sort of like a kind of a callback to the Heathers and Boogers situation from like season 3, where there's like somebody has identified, you know, half of the group as like the Kumbaya queens who like can't handle shadiness, and so like you gotta be gentle with them, but over here we'll be shady. So there's a little bit of a season 3 callback, which I appreciate.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I've also been watching The Traitors US season 3, which is wild. I don't know if you've ever watched The Traitors. Have you ever seen The Traitors?
I have not.
The Traitors is just the game Werewolf or Mafia with like celebrities, basically.
Oh, okay.
And what's wild is like they're mostly reality TV celebrities, and then some other ones thrown in here and there. But what gets wild is like they're all from reality TV, but some of them are from like Survivor and Big Brother and like The Circle, like social strategy games where like you are meant to eliminate people. And then other people are like from like The Bachelor and Real Housewives and Vanderpump, where like, yeah, it's dramatic, but like
no one's getting eliminated.
There's no elimination. Yeah. So it's really wild to see what that dynamic looks like. And this season on The Traitors, there's always more than one traitor, so they have to like work together. The Traitors are a mess. The Traitors are a mess.
That could be really fun.
All hate each other.
Oh,
it's incredible. Hate each other in a game context. It's so amazing. So I'm glad I was so behind on Traitors, and I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna watch this one. Bob the Drag Queen's on this season. So I was like, I'm not messing around, I'm just gonna do it. And I'm so glad I did. It's so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Were you thinking about anything?
Nope. Not that I can think of right now.
Well, I have two things. One, you said something last week that I've been thinking about that I think is nice. So just like, I don't know if you remember, but you said diversity is good and trans people have always and will always be here. Mm-hmm. And I tweaked this last one a little bit. Maybe I'm not remembering it correctly, but fuck Nazis.
That's a better version, improved.
But the Grammys just happened. And I feel like they're worth mentioning because there are some artists that we've talked about on here that won some cool stuff. So Chappell Roan won Best New Artist, which is awesome and also kind of funny. Best New Artist is always funny because like the people who win are also people who've like
she's been in the industry for like 10 years.
Yeah. Which honestly I think kind of makes Best New Artist like more validating because it feels like this specific culmination of sort of your come up year. But also Cowboy Carter won Best Country Album.
Fuck yes.
And I think it won something else too. What else did it win? It might have won Album of the Year. Yep, it won Album of the Year.
Finally. Beyonce gets a little,
I know. The Grammys get it, even if the Country Music Awards or whatever the hell they're called don't get it.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah.
Recognition. I appreciate the recognition.
Love that.
Yeah, it was I haven't watched the ceremony. I never do, but I'm always curious about, what ended up happening.
Yeah.
And those were some highlights from folks that we like to talk about.
Hell yeah, love that.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm ready to talk about some Oxenfree.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do it. At the top, like we said, we played 2016's Oxenfree from Night School Studios, who have gone on to develop After Party, a narrative game about out-drinking Lucifer to escape hell, and Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals, a 2023 sequel to the game we're talking about. Oxenfree was originally published independently, but Netflix purchased Night School Studio a few years back, which probably sucks. I don't really know. I just assume that a big company that sucks buying a company also sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about that. I've seen that apparently they didn't get involved in Oxenfree 2. They were just sort of like, do whatever you're doing already. So hopefully they're just sort of like collecting and not interfering. Yeah.
Do your thing.
But that does mean that this is one of those games that if you do still happen to have Netflix, you have access to. Like if you didn't realize you had Oxenfree, you might already have Oxenfree if you have Netflix. So you could play it on a phone or a tablet. But it's not a super expensive game.
Yeah.
Do you
and it goes on sale.
And it goes on sale frequently. I think I got it on sale for us playing it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if we tend to do this for game clubs, but do you have a short description for this or a one-sentence description for this?
Yeah, I think we do. And I was thinking about this, and I think I would describe it as a game about a group of teens who go on their senior skip night excursion.
Yeah.
Where things get freaky and scary.
Yeah. I like incorporating the idea of like the sort of senior trip aspect of it. I feel like it's fun context. I don't know. I don't super know how to describe this in one sentence without being like so vague. So like it's a narrative-driven psychological horror movie where your choices matter. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
But it's so much more than that. So,
but I mean, describing it in one sentence while not wanting to kind of give things away or spoil it, right? Because part of the beauty is finding out stuff, and experiencing it.
And what I will say, because I so deeply don't want to spoil this for anybody who's even remotely interested in playing it, I've played this game several times already because I just want to keep like discovering the things I hadn't discovered yet, So I love this. I think it is so worth it to go in knowing as little as possible. I mean, we'll do our content stuff so that folks can make a smart choice for themselves. But like, if you're down to go into a game without knowing anything, this is certainly one of them.
Yeah.
All right, so content, it's a horror game. It's a psychological horror game. There's scary, intense stuff in it. And it is a game where you can't always be confident that what is real and what is, for lack of a better term, like a hallucination. So
interesting.
Some specific content, but are you ever sure? I don't know. So content, there are depictions of suicide and self-harm. They're as minimally graphic as that can be, but they're not implied. They are shown.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking, I'll say. It's
shocking. Yeah, it is shocking. There are discussions of parental sibling death as well as party member death. There's verbal and emotional abuse. There are optional dialogue featuring like insensitive language about mental health. And there's like the general horror stuff. There are jump scares, there's spooky imagery and atmosphere, there's disorienting and potentially upsetting radio signals and sounds. So it is a horror game. There are scary things in it. But there are also some very real things in it.
Yeah. Some things you might always see, but some things, because it is a narrative choice game, you might not see everything. So some of the things you listed, because I didn't play multiple times, I haven't seen all those. So you might get some stuff, but not everything, unless you're doing a completionist sort of thing.
Yeah, I normally don't do completionist stuff for things you have to play more than once, but I was like, I already want to play this more than once. So I've done everything. I liked it a lot. Okay, we're going full spoiler mode, unless there was any other content stuff that I missed that you wanted to throw in there.
I think you hit all the big things.
All right, spoilers ahead. Get out of here if you're interested in playing this game.
For real.
Where to start? Where do you want to start?
I want to start mechanics. I think that's a thing that is typically helpful, where we start with maybe some lighter spoilery things and move into heavier story spoilers. And one of you can walk around in this game and explore, and the dialogue at first, I was like, how the fuck do I pick what I want? The joystick isn't moving a cursor to the thing. And it took me a little bit to like realize like, oh, I need to hit the button that is corresponding with it. And then also in some of the flipped scenes, I was like, I no longer know what button to press anymore, because I don't understand if it'll stay true to what would the quote unquote non-mirror or upside down version.
Right.
So that was kind of fun, but added an element of like, fuck, what do I do? How did you know, like, let me button hit from the start, or did you?
That I did know from After Party. So that I think I was just already
interesting.
primed for.
Yeah.
I think what Night School calls it is like their walk and talk dialogue. So like characters talk to each other while you're walking. There's no like stop. Well, I shouldn't say no, but there are very few like characters just stopping and talking to each other. Most of the time you can move while talking is happening. Which also means that you can like cut off conversations on accident or on purpose.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Or like, did you encounter that in ways that you were sort of like, wait?
Yes, I did. But then I ended up like being like, oh, well, because I feel like it happened towards the beginning, because in a lot of games when a character is interrupted for whatever reason, they would, a couple steps later, the next scene would be like, well, as I was saying, and then like launch back into what they were doing. And that didn't always happen. There were also times where I was like, let me press a button and play with this phone as this person's talking to me. And they would keep talking, and then maybe the conversation would just switch to us talking about the phone. And then I'd be like, oops.
Yeah, there were a couple mechanical things that like haven't been ironed out necessarily, and I hope that for Oxenfree 2 they're ironed out. That was one that really bugged me, is like there are times where you can interact with an item that sparks conversation, and then you will just have two overlapping conversations, which can get really confusing and not on purpose. That was frustrating, but I do generally like the walk and talk
me too
approach to it. You can choose not to say anything. You can choose to just walk away from people. You can choose to just like go to a different screen, or you can just like stop and wait for the entire conversation to finish. Because if you just stop, a lot of the characters will just keep talking until they've like expended everything they have to say.
Right. Yeah.
Or like if you don't go to them, they will continue talking on the screen to be like, Alex, hey Alex, Earth to Alex,
Yeah.
So I do think it's fun.
Yeah. There were some times, especially in the beginning, and I was like exploring, let me throw rocks into the water. And like Ren's like, Alex, come on, Alex. I'm like, it's been 0 seconds. Let me throw a couple rocks.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. I also do wish there were more opportunities for that. I've loved that at that campsite, there's like a few things you can interact with while people are talking. Yeah. I know for most of the game, you're meant to be moving and going places. But I did like that you could like throw rocks and you could grab a drink and you could stoke the fire and like it doesn't stop the conversation. I think there's something cool about that could be capitalized on a lot. And I don't remember too much of how much of that is an After Party. I will say this makes me kind of want to go back and play After Party because I didn't love After Party, but I really liked this. So I want to see like maybe if I've maybe I'll go in like better prepared. And, expectations and expertise or whatever. But I do wonder and hope. I wonder if and I hope that Oxenfree 2 has more of those like throw a rock, break this stick, do this thing. Otherwise, you're just kind of like. Yeah, right. Otherwise, you're just sort of like, I want to hear what they're saying, but there's nothing to do. So I guess I'll just stand here like, hey.
Yeah. It was interesting to like, because at first I was like, I have to pick a dialogue option always. And then like, it was interesting too, sometimes picking the dialogue option where I would assume that Alex, the main character, which I don't know if we said that yet, I was like assuming she'd wait until there's like, okay, there's a natural end to this like sentence and then she's gonna speak, but I would hit it and then sometimes it would wait a little bit, but sometimes it was just like, and I'm starting to interrupt you and say this thing, which is also true of like a conversation in like real life. But I was like, oh, I had to hit the thing because the dialogue was going away and now I'm saying things when I really would love to hear the rest of your sentence be finished, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's intentional, but it certainly can be frustrating because you're like, well, you're timing me. I have to choose something.
Right, I can't just
let it sit. But they're still
sit.
talking.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I do think that those opportunities are reserved mostly for walking and talking. If it's like consequential conversation, they will like Alex will wait to say what she's saying. And it sounds like you encountered those types of things too. So it's just not clear when those things are necessarily happening. So you're sort of like, I think there's only one not timed dialogue and it's the very last bit of like dialogue. So like you have to choose something every single time.
I didn't even know.
You might not have realized. Yeah. Because like by the end of the game, you're just assuming you have to choose. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know. I was always sort of like, oh, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
There is an achievement for bone to pick Night School. There is an achievement for playing the whole game without ever choosing a dialogue option, which sucks. It doesn't make the game fun. Don't do that again. If Oxenfree has that, I'm gonna be mad. The only benefit is you get to hear like new dialogue for what it would be like if Alex never said anything to anyone, but it doesn't make the game fun.
Yeah. Because this game, silent protagonists are fun in some games, right? Like Legend of Zelda, Link, classic silent protagonist.
Totally.
But like,
this is a game full of dialogue.
and a game full of personality.
Yeah.
And like Alex has and could have different personality depending on how you're playing her. But I liked the Alex that I was playing as, you know?
Yeah.
And it would be sad to not have some exploration of what she actually thinks be known, you know, to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably guess because I think you and I tend to approach first playthroughs pretty similarly, but how did you play your Alex?
Yeah, I played Alex as like a curious and overall trying to be kind, and like even if you're kind of an asshole, like I'm still gonna care about you, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, me too. When I was with people like directly in my party, I was usually down to do things, right? So like, yeah, I'm down to go in the cave. Yeah, I'm down to do this. Yeah, I'm down to, you know, look for this thing or help this person. But, you know, there were certainly times where like, particularly with Clarissa, where I was willing to be sort of like, Clarissa, shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in those cases, like Clarissa is antagonistic towards you. And I think I just like, I'm like, I'm not interested in pleasing this like virtual person who's being mean to me. So I don't care. I'm kind of mean back to you.
Yeah. We could definitely get more into that because I would love to.
Yeah, and there is something I want to get to about dialogue in a little bit when we start talking more about like, let's say flashbacks.
Oh, yes.
Because I would love to know how you handled those. But let's talk about some of the characters first, because there is a cast of 5 characters that you interact with. a whole bunch. You start with Ren and Jonas. Ren is Alex's best friend. He's a bit of a stoner. He's sort of like a goofy guy. And then Jonas is Alex's brand new stepbrother who is meeting Alex for the first time. Like they've never met each other before. And they've invited him on their like senior island trip.
Yeah.
What do you think of these two?
At first, I was like, I'm not really sure what's happening because you're kind of thrown into it right in the middle of like a kind of a conversation. I think Ren is a real talker. And so I was like trying to figure out mechanics, trying to figure out what was happening. I'm on a boat and there's circles over things. Do I need to go press those things? And so I was like not super... I was listening, but wasn't super listening type of thing.
You start to realize, like, I'm probably going to tune this guy out a lot.
Yeah. Ren's just kind of going, you know?
Yeah.
And I, for the most part, liked all of the characters minus Clarissa, but I came to have more empathy for Clarissa through, you know, some of the things that we see. But
I appreciate Clarissa, but I would not want to be friends with Clarissa.
Yeah. Yes.
I can support you from afar.
Yes, and would rather actually.
Right. Yeah.
How about you? How did you feel about the OG trio?
Yeah, I think I like Jonas more than Ren, but that's mostly because Ren is kind of just constantly going and is like a little bit annoying. And I, you know, he's got his stuff going on, but like Ren is largely like charismatic, chummy guy who is like buddy with everybody, and his main sort of story is that he has like a crush on one of the characters. And so like that's most of what he's going through. And we don't really scratch too much deeper than that. Jonas, though, I do find it fascinating that like Jonas is someone that you just meet for the first time, but that is like part of your family.
How old is Jonas?
Okay, so we know Alex, Ren, and the final two members of the party are all seniors, I believe, in high school, right? Because those are all people that are in the same circle. Jonas, I don't know. I'm assuming he's a similar age. I don't know if that means... I didn't get the sense that he was younger. I feel like characters would have talked to him differently if he was younger. So I'm guessing he is also a senior in high school or just out of high school.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Cool. That's what I was thinking too. But I don't know, since you played multiple times, if you found some information, you know.
No, I just think he's an interesting character for this story in particular because he's your new stepbrother, and there is sort of like a sixth-ish character in that Alex has a biological brother that recently died. So I do think Jonas is automatically more interesting to me than Ren is because of that particular dynamic.
Yeah, I think that's true. And just like thinking about kind of what happens within the context of the night and like, can you imagine meeting people for the first time and like this is happening?
Wild.
He's like so chill about it overall.
Truly. It's funny too. I thought about that because I was like, he's only there because Alex invited him
He's
to
like,
come.
Sure, I guess I should hang out with my new sister. I think that would be nice.
Thing.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. We've referenced her a whole bunch already. Clarissa, she's an asshole most of the time in this game, like in the slice of the story that is this game. But it is a bit more complicated than that because she is Alex's brother's ex-girlfriend. And so you can kind of understand why Clarissa acts the way that she does towards Alex, even if it's not fair. You can see sort of what she's going through and can kind of see why she's lashing out, even though the lashing out is like not cool.
Yeah. And you don't really find that out until kind of deeper into the story, like the fuller context of things.
Yeah.
So it was like, what the fuck is this girl's deal?
Yeah, you have to start putting the pieces together yourself, but yeah, when you get to hear it like from Clarissa's words, like if those are technically Clarissa's words,
right.
which is that mark. You know what I was talking about earlier, it becomes suddenly very, very brutal. But even if they're not Clarissa's words, they might be Alex's interpretation or memory of Clarissa's words. So, you get a full picture, I think, a full enough picture to understand that Clarissa has animosity towards Alex and is putting a lot of her grief into blame.
Yeah, for sure.
Towards Alex.
That girl needs therapy.
She does, and I hope she gets it, because you get to sort of meet her prior to all this, and she's like a perfectly pleasant person. Yeah. So it's a bummer. I mean, we just happened to meet her, I think, at a horrible
tough time
moment in her life,
Yeah, not her best.
That doesn't change the fact that I was like, if you're going to be a total jerk to me, I'm going to be an asshole back.
Yeah.
Nona, I wish there was more going on with Nona narratively, because Nona, I think, is a fun personality in a game like this, in like a horror party setting. But I do think Nona is largely reduced to like Clarissa's friend and Ren's crush. I mean, there's more than that, but I do think that's like primarily what she is there for, which is a bummer.
But it's also her birthday next week or whatever.
That's true. That also tells me I already know one of the choices you made. Yeah, it's her birthday next week, and she thinks maybe Alex should come. I don't know. She also does provide at least some sort of counter to Clarissa being an asshole all the time, because Nona's like, this is my friend. She is not
always like
she
this.
She is a good person. She's not like this all the time. Yeah. So a little bit of context, but that's sort of our main party. We're split up a bunch.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, did you lean towards, because you're always Alex, but you have choices on like who to do certain things with. Did you lean towards certain characters, or was it all just sort of like, who did I pick?
Yeah, I feel like I did a lot of stuff with Jonas. And then when you have the option to go kind of later on after a fight, I was like, these boys are annoying. Yeah. Nona, let's go, girl.
I bet you we made all the same choices the first time around, because I also was like, I'm going to spend time with Jonas. I don't know this guy, and this is an interesting story, but absolutely chose Nona, because I was like, these idiots. They won't shut up.
And like, they were like so weird about choosing Nona. I mean, we're getting more into like story spoiler stuff, if
we've
folks
met
couldn't
most
tell.
of the people.
Yeah.
All the active players.
Yeah. But it was surprising to me with how wild their fight kind of out of, they don't know each other enough to fight like that. And then they're acting like idiots. I have Alex being like, yo, stop, for real. They keep going. And then when I choose Nona, they're like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. This is why I'm going with Nona.
It's exactly why I went with Nona too, but I will say it's like a well-written horror party. You know, like if you have a group of teens walking through the woods, like they've got lots of different interactions, and someone's got to fight, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Got to be some sort of tension. But no, I mean, I was totally with you. I was like, all right, Nona, let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
Did you, when you had the option to go save Ren or Clarissa first, what did you choose?
So, because of how things kind of played out, where Ren calls first, and then you're talking to Ren, and then you have the option to either stay talking with Ren or talk to Clarissa. I ended up being like, hold on, Ren, let me talk to Clarissa real quick. Clarissa sounded in more danger. And so I was like, okay, Clarissa, I'm coming. And I did actually go to Clarissa first. How about you?
Oh, interesting. I went to Ren first. Yeah. My first playthrough, I went to Ren first. So, okay. So you saw how Ren reacts to you going to Clarissa first. He's like sort of like upset about it and like, what the hell, man? Which I didn't see until probably like the third time I played. Because I just was always sort of like, screw you, Clarissa. Until I was at the point where I've like, well, this is the last choice I have to make that I haven't made before. So
yeah. So a question, because when you go to Clarissa first, I mean, Clarissa is where you see the really intense suicide.
Yeah.
And does that happen when you go to her second as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the core story of those two doesn't necessarily change, but how they react to you based on you choosing one of them changes.
Okay.
And the path that you like literally are able to take
what you
has
can
to
unlock.
change
Yeah.
because of like you've literally unlocked a different part of the map. But yeah, I mean, there you can't get around that Clarissa sequence. It's rough.
My partner played this game a while ago and was like, this was one of the first games that she played on Switch. She's not a super horror person.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's been years now since she's played it, but I was like, holy shit, you played this? This was like fucking intense. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, there's all this like creepy ghost and horror stuff, but also like the suicide depictions. And she's like, what? I was like, are you...
No, she saw it. There's no way not to.
Yeah.
I was like, did you miss both of them?
Okay.
It doesn't change. Yeah.
Okay.
There are consequential decisions that you make. So by the end, similar to like a Telltale game, you get like your report of what happened. But as far as I am aware, I've played it
across
4 times
board.
now,
Yeah.
and it has happened every single
There's
time.
no way to avoid it.
Yeah, I don't think there is a way to avoid it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The worst things in this game, like the worst or toughest things to see and to hear, I feel like are core elements of the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do wonder if the way that it's depicted makes it, I guess, easier to.
I mean, because she is
forget
alive.
She gets up, or
yeah.
She presumably like gets up and is fine and walks away and all that sort of stuff, which becomes one of those sort of like, did that actually happen? I mean, we watched it happen.
Yeah.
So Clarissa's sort of the first, I think the first one that gets into like really weird, dark shit, you know?
Yes. I mean, off the fucking bat with Clarissa. Yeah. Once you go in that cave and things change, Clarissa is like in the fucking deep end immediately. And it was interesting. So like, okay, I'm talking big picture kind of spoilers now, right?
Yeah.
The island is haunted by ghosts who want to possess you and your friends.
Yes.
And
World War II submarine Navy ghosts.
They all drowned and they want to take your bodies and live.
Yeah.
Classic story. Which you find out all through the radio. And clippings, I think, of their radio transmissions or other radio transmissions, which that was really cool. We could talk about radio mechanics a little bit. Did you ever, in your 4 playthroughs, I'm so interested, because like, I was like, when the ghosts were like, just like, give us Clarissa. Did you ever give them Clarissa, and what was the deal?
Yeah, I absolutely did. I mean, I didn't right away, because in a first playthrough, I'm always going to try to save everybody.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. There was one where there might have been 2. I think twice well, no, here's what happened. Twice I agreed to the deal, and once I carried through, because you have the opportunity to agree with the ghost. Like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. And then you have the opportunity to tell your friends what you did. And then when push comes to shove, you are confronted with the decision. And you have the opportunity to make it or not make it, regardless of whether you committed to them or not. Right. So if you tell the ghosts that you are down to trade Clarissa, you will be presented with the choice at the end, but it is still a choice. So yeah, if you give her up, she's gone. And if you say that you're going to give her up and tell everybody you're going to give her up and don't, they remember that you thought about doing that.
Whoops.
It's really wild. Are you going to play it again? Do you want to know like full sort of
you can
like
tell me
stuff? Okay.
Well, one of the things with the ending, because I was wondering if this is true for all endings, because you go through like the looking at a photo and here's what this person did and here's how we stay connected or not, and then it like loops and you're back at the start, or at least for mine. And in mine, I was like, the ghosts were like, we're gonna keep you with us. So I was like, am I stuck in this loop now with these ghosts, or is that true all the time?
What I will say is, if folks have only played it one time and are sort of like, well, Doug's going to tell me all this stuff that changes and that's cool. The coolest shit the second time you play is not story details. So it's still worth playing a second time. So yeah, every single time after you get your results and see your final photo of who is alive and who's not alive, you get that same thing that loops you back.
Okay.
But what you see after the loop isn't necessarily always exactly the same. So even after the photograph, you might see something different. And things that you do in your first playthrough might affect things you see or hear in the second playthrough.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
It's so I immediately immediately replayed it when I got to the loop ending, because I was like, whoa, what do you mean I got back to the end?
Yeah.
Because I had just heard about a game. I don't remember what it is. Is it like Nier or something where like you have to play it 3 times to see like the whole story or whatever. So I like had that in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do it. I'm going to make different choices this time, but like, let's get to it. And then, you might see slightly different things or hear slightly different things. So I do think it's worth a second play no matter what. Story-wise, though, I mean, the sort of like character stuff, it's not like they're going to give you new characters to meet or anything. The characters stay the same. You're still playing the same sort of journey. You end up on the island and you are presented with the same choices, so you do always loop back. I think technically the answer is like you could not loop back, but you have a save file and it always lets you play again.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But there is, I think, technically a narrative where you quote win or like beat the scenario or something. Yeah, get out. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Since we're talking about different endings, did you end up with Michael at the end?
No, Michael did not.
I didn't either the first time.
Yeah. I did do a little bit of reading about some of the other things. Mm-hmm. And I did see that it was possible for Michael to, I don't know, come back to life or whatever. But I did not do that. Because in the first playthrough, my mirror self, the advice was always like, let people make the decisions they want to make. Mm-hmm. Or like, don't interfere. And so then I was like, do I need to remember what I said or what was said in each of these mirror scenarios? So that way there's congruence.
That's just trippy.
Yeah. And
the mirror shit is so trippy.
Yeah. Cause then you play the mirror shit at the end too. There were like, cause the mirror gives you advice, or you can choose the advice you want to give originally you want to get from the mirror originally. And then you see the scenarios where you could take or not take the advice that you get from the mirror. And then you go as you are the person in the mirror then giving the same advice. And I was like, I'm just going to do it all the same. I'm going to have congruence because I don't fucking understand what would happen if I did something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you choose congruence and choose basically not to influence, you have chosen not to affect the loop, and therefore everything that happened with Michael happens again with Michael, right? So you have to do certain things, differently in order to change it. But I didn't know that was possible the first time, I didn't know I was going to loop back. I don't know that you can know that going in. And so, I mean, I was trying to be agreeable and nice. And here's what I wanted to ask you about dialogue options earlier. When you do the sort of flashbacks, you are effectively going back in time.
Yeah, time travel.
And talking to Michael. And at a point, you get to talk to Clarissa. And there are different scenarios where you're talking to Michael and Clarissa in the past. How did you handle that? Did you try to tell them what was going on? Or did you play along with the scenario as they were understanding it?
I tried a little to be like, what the fuck, everybody?
Yeah.
And then when they were not vibing with what I was saying, I then started being kind of like, not evasive, but like, I guess I'm not going to try as hard, and I'll just kind of be nice to my brother, I guess, sort of thing. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, the first time I played it, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not like convincing them, especially when you get to the point where you meet Clarissa. Yeah. And you're like, Clarissa, do you know what's going on?
Clarissa, you're
do you
fucking
remember?
Trapped on an island. Yeah.
Right. And she doesn't know what you're talking about. I was like, all right, well, I guess I guess I'm just playing the past. Like I'm seeing a flashback. But flashback isn't entirely correct because it is this weird time loopy thing.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like you have the choice to try to convince them or not convince them. And so it was interesting to like look back on what I did and be like, oh, I really was trying like not to let them know what was going on after they didn't react well to it.
Yeah. I'm interested, and we could talk more about like characters and stuff, but the like mechanic of radio and playing with the radio. Yeah.
Obsessed. I love it so much.
Hell yeah.
It's so cool. Like the fact that like you have this radio with a dial that can like activate certain things that happen in the game, but also just is a radio, like that you can tune and sort of like listen to things with.
Yeah.
And that those things aren't necessarily always the same based on where you are on the island is fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool. And like I got so into it that like there were times where I just would sort of like I'd be tuning for an action in the game, but then I'd hear something and I'd be like, whoa, wait, I want to hear that. What did they just say? Because it's like, there's like clips of recordings of historical speeches. There's like, I'm pretty sure there's like Bugs Bunny in there at one point singing opera, or an impression of Bugs Bunny singing opera. There's Morse code in there. There's so many things in there that are both, you know, of the world of Oxenfree, but also just like from our world.
Yeah.
They've just included clips. It's the coolest shit ever. I love it so much. And I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, because once I heard this, I didn't want to look any further into it. But there is a room where you know how normally when you're unlocking doors, you look for the quote blue frequency.
Yeah.
There's a room where a specific channel turns blue on your radio, but nothing happens. And I was like, this is weird. Something is supposed to happen because it's turning blue. Like I can see the color changing. And I heard that maybe that frequency is actually relevant in the second game.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's true, but how fucking cool would that be?
That'd be really fucking
if there
cool.
are things that we're hearing in the game this time that were seemingly irrelevant that end up being relevant in the second game.
Right, that were plants for the second game. Damn.
Dude, there's so many times during this game. I mean, you got to see it a couple times when we were like hanging out where I just like my jaw dropped or I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe that just happened.
Doug's facial expressions during at least one playthrough of Oxenfree. I like it was so you were so animated.
It's so good. Because I think we were hanging out when I got to the end the first time and looped back and was back on the boat. And so I was like,
what the fuck?
What the fuck just happened? But I didn't want to tell you that could happen. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I love the radio mechanic. I love that you get a second radio that like, basically
so many
the
more.
way you unlock more of the map is by getting a radio with wider frequencies. So like, it's really cool. There's like stuff like hidden on the island that you like quote activate with your radio. Like the potential for it is just so immense. And I think they used a lot of self-control in making it relevant to like a few specific things.
Yeah.
But they could keep using this mechanic in their storytelling. And it just like, I don't think it would ever get old to me. I just feel like there's so many things you can do with it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing, because they've already used it so creatively. Like the like literal unlocking system of like this expanded radio.
Yeah.
So fucking, what a cool idea. What a cool mechanic. I like would love to see, you know, in Oxenfree 2, if it evolves in some different way, if the radio gets used for more or for different things.
You can make puzzles with the radio frequencies. I mean, like when you unlock doors in this game, you just have to find one frequency and then unlocks the door. But imagine the types of puzzles you could create knowing that you have this radio
slider. Yeah.
Especially if, I mean, at one point in this game, when you find the bigger radio, the person you're with is like, oh, there's two of them, but you never use two of them. Imagine the possibilities if you had characters
co-op?
that both had co-op or even just the ability to like jump to another player who also has a radio and trying to coordinate your radio frequencies to solve a puzzle or make something happen on opposite ends of the island. I mean, there's just endless. I mean, you don't even have to like decode anything from the radio, but you could do that too. Yeah. That could be part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's so cool. I had a Morse code. I downloaded a fucking Morse code app.
That's so fucking
so that I could like, I would put it up to my controller and like read what the Morse code was saying. And it was always like weird, creepy stuff. But sometimes it was like seemingly a message from Anna, who is Maggie's like, So like Maggie Adler is this old woman that lived on this island for basically forever. She's the only permanent resident. No one else lived there. It's sort of like one of those islands that you like visit or has like seasonal sort of people living, is my understanding, which makes sense to me because like we have that in Ohio because like people aren't going to live on an island in the middle of Lake Erie when it's like cold as fuck. But there's still stuff there, you know, and there's like some permanent residents. And she dies like right before this game happens. And you discover that she was trying to solve the mystery you're trying to solve. Or trying to like close the portals that you are trying to close throughout the game. But she had this partner, Anna, that we don't really learn that much about. I would like to believe that these are wives, you know, mystery wives. But there are, I think something must have gone wrong because some of the Morse code transmissions are seemingly from Anna.
Yeah, well, there was something in the playthrough that I was in where it was like, Anna got stuck with the ghosts sort of thing.
Yeah.
From whatever messing around that, you know, Maggie and Anna were doing.
Yeah.
So
like Anna, could we save Anna at some point? Like, can we meet Anna at some point, you know? Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't know. But it's I just everything about the radio is so cool. I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. I don't normally love or I am neutral on the sounds coming out of the controller.
Oh yeah.
I played this on PlayStation 5, and so all the radio stuff was through the controller. And I was so sold. I was like, you know what? If this is how you're going to use the controller audio, I'm in.
Yeah. I played it on Switch, which is what I had bought it for previously, which obviously, you know, doesn't have the controller function, also doesn't have trophies. And I was thinking about it, like just playing things on Switch, and like if I were playing it on PlayStation, I might be compelled more by trophies to play it through as much as possible to try to get all the trophies sort of thing. Yeah. But I was like, you know, on Switch, I like did one playthrough. I like feel good about how I played this character. Oops, I'm stuck in a loop, but maybe that's just the game. Maybe that's just how this ends. And that's kind of horrifying.
I think that's a great ending to a horror story, honestly. Like if you only play this game once, I think it is a perfectly satisfying story. Because I like horror movies that end with some sort of like unsettling, ambiguous ending. I think it's a great way to end a horror story.
Yeah.
So you certainly don't have to keep playing it, but I do think they've managed to create a scenario where you are rewarded for doing it, like beyond just the trophies, which I think is cool. Every so often I just like end up in a phase where I'm sort of like, if I can play this on PlayStation, I'm going to play it on PlayStation because then I'll get my trophies.
Hell yeah.
And then I burn myself out and then I'm like, whatever, I don't care anymore. So I just happen to be in one of those waves where I'm like, trophies.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah.
Is there any other stuff about this game we haven't talked about or characters you wanted to get to?
I don't think so. I think we hit on a lot of the like big moments. I really liked taking pictures and then having those be in the load screens. I don't know if that happened on PlayStation 5. And then seeing things in the pictures that you couldn't see while you were playing. Yes. I think that was really cool.
I love the way they handle the ghosts because you barely ever see them. And I think that's way scarier than showing them to us.
Yeah.
So like the most you ever see of the ghosts is like an outline and some eyes. And that might be like depicted physically in the world, or it might be in a flash of lightning or something when you're walking up the stairs,
Yeah.
And I think that's so good, and it's such a great way to do it. And then the only time you get to see them in a static way is in the background of a photograph.
Yeah.
And they fucking nailed the atmosphere. Like, they just did such an incredible job.
Well, I was really thinking about the possessions too, because every time you do this time travel or flashback, it is because your body is actively being used by the ghosts in that moment. And when you are Alex and you are seeing other players levitate or step out a window or, crumple to the ground or sitting in a chair but slumped, and then they are now standing and they have got red eyes. I was thinking, because towards the end, the characters start talking about being conscious of when they are being possessed. And I don't have the strength, as much. I can feel it getting longer. And the kind of horrifying realization of being aware of what is happening to you, but being kind of powerless to stop this possession.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the scariest thing about any sort of possession story, is if you are aware of it while it's happening. It's just like anything that's able to control your body while you are conscious is like the most horrifying thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like they handle it in such a good way. There's a moment, I don't remember who it is when they're possessed, but there is a moment where you can see ever so slightly one of the ghosts basically holding them up, because you typically float when you're being possessed.
Yeah.
But if you look closely, you can kind of see a figure in their eyes and sort of an arm reached out, right where someone is floating. So
that's cool.
It's a cool way to do it. It's a cool way to artistically portray it, but also narratively portray it, where characters are sort of reacting to it and what you experience, both when it happens to other people versus when it happens to yourself. It just is truly, I'm in awe of this game. I'm so impressed with what they did.
Yeah. A game for me that I was I need to take some breaks. I need to not play this totally late at night before bed.
Oh yeah. I will say it was scarier than I thought it was. I guess I didn't realize it was a horror game going in. I figured it had
I thought it was spooky. Yeah.
And spooky. Yeah. But I wasn't expecting some of the jumpy stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Or some of the dark stuff to happen.
Visual. Yeah. All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I just saw this today when I was on the Wikipedia page and immediately clicked away. Apparently, there is a game in the radio within the game Oxenfree, an ARG, an alternate reality game.
What?
Where there is apparently something in the radio that leads you to somewhere on the internet that then leads you on a path.
What?
So if Oxenfree wanted me to play this a fifth time, they've succeeded. Because
shit.
It's just it's wild. It's wild. I mean, I absolutely want to go back and play After Party again, because I feel like I must have not gotten a full experience there. But I'm also a little worried, because if I go back and play it again, I'm sort of where's the shit that you did in Oxenfree? Oxenfree is so layered.
Where's the layers?
Yeah. So, I mean, it never stops. I just feel like there's always some other little fold or layer or wrinkle.
That's truly
with
wild.
This game. Isn't that awesome? It's so cool. And then I don't know. I think this might be a development hell type thing, but apparently there's a television series in development, which would be terrifying.
Yeah.
That's all. It would be terrifying.
Yeah. I'll take the cartoon version, please.
Right. Exactly. Thumb rating, what do you think?
Yeah. Thumbs up for me, for sure. I didn't know what to expect going in. Ended up really enjoying it, and also genuinely feeling feelings as I was playing it. It was, and learning more about it from what you've experienced and what you found out about it. It's big brain stuff.
Truly.
Yeah.
How
about
it's so
you?
Cool. I think I mean, it's no surprise. Thumbs down. No, just kidding. I mean, this is maybe one of my favorite games I've ever played. I mean, it just kept blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And I do think like a lot of it is like very specifically just because it is like tailor made to my interests and some of the weird, wild shit that I like to watch or read or whatever. But I mean, there is literally no other game that I've played 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And feel compelled to continue to play
again. Yeah.
So
you decoded fucking Morse code for this.
It's amazing. It's so amazing. I mean, I was trying, and it's like hard to do this. I was like trying to like screen grab certain things that were happening at like very specific moments, because it just, everything about it is like so, for me, like artistically, like
it's a beautiful game,
you know, like
it's truly a beautiful game.
Yeah. So massive thumbs up for me. I think I move forward in my life with like a new game on my list of favorite games, which is amazing.
Yay.
And so thank you. I think you were the one who proposed we do this. So
yeah,
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think you asked our text group if any of us had played it, and I was like, let's see how long it is. And it worked out. So thank you for asking.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks, after party.
Yeah, really kicked it off. Well, I mean, thank you everybody for listening, for tuning your radio stations to us. If you played Oxenfree and want to let us know your thoughts, if there were things we missed or should look into more around this, please let us know, because this is a cool game and we like talking and hearing about it. So tell us things. And you could tell us things through email at novelgamingpodcast@gmail.com or on Blue Sky and Instagram at novelgamingpod. And if you enjoy what we do, you can rate, review, and subscribe to Novel Gaming wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to check out the Glitterjaw Podcast Collective for other cool, queer podcasts. We would all be super grateful for it. And we'll be back soon with our new book club episode.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
See ya.